Last year, a mid-sized insurance company in Ohio let go of 43 employees in a single afternoon. No scandal, no news coverage, no protest outside the building. They handed over the severance paperwork, and by 5 o'clock, the parking lot was emptier than it had ever been on a Tuesday. The reason they gave? Operational efficiency. The real reason? One AI contract, signed 6 weeks earlier. $38 per user per month. 43 salaries for $38 a month. That story didn't trend. Nobody covered it. But it is happening right now in cities you know to people who had absolutely no idea it was coming. That's what we're getting into today. The AI conversation in America runs at two speeds. There's the loud Silicon Valley speed. Every week is a revolution, every launch is historic, and if you blinked, you missed the future. And then there's the actual ground level speed, where real people watch their job descriptions quietly change, their departments slowly thin out, and their managers start using words like restructuring with a little too much comfort. Those two speeds are not the same conversation. In 2026, the gap between them has never been wider. So today on Money Fandom, no hype, no panic, just an honest accounting of where things actually stand. Here is why this year specifically changed the register on this conversation. For the last several years, AI replacing jobs was largely theoretical. Companies were experimenting, running pilots, waiting to see what competitors did first. That waiting period is over. The technology didn't suddenly get smarter. What changed is the deployment infrastructure. The tools got cheaper. The integrations got easier. The implementation risk dropped low enough that mid-sized companies, not just the Fortune 500, not just the tech giants, started pulling the trigger. And mid-sized companies employ most of America. Goldman Sachs ran the numbers. 300 million jobs globally exposed to automation. In the United States, somewhere between 60 and 70% of current occupations have meaningful portions of their tasks automatable with technology that already exists and is already deployed. Not future technology. What is running right now inside companies you've already heard of? Now, here's the part most people get wrong, the mental model of how this actually works. When people imagine AI taking jobs, they imagine a clean substitution. Robot sits at desk, human goes home. One in, one out. That is not how it happens. What AI does first is eliminate tasks, not roles. Specific, repeatable, definable tasks inside jobs that still officially exist. And for a while, the human still shows up. Their job just looks different. Some of what used to fill their day is now handled automatically. Then the math catches up. If AI handles 60% of what a role required, the company doesn't need 10 people anymore. They need 4. When somebody quits or retires, the position doesn't get backfilled. The department quietly compresses. Nobody gets fired in a dramatic scene. The job just slowly stops existing. Labor economists call this silent attrition. It is the primary mechanism by which AI is restructuring the workforce right now. Not mass layoffs, not headlines, just invisible compression that you only notice when you zoom out and realize the department that used to have 20 people now runs on 11, and nobody can quite remember when that happened. That's what makes it so hard to fight. You can't protest a job that was never officially eliminated. So where is this already visible? Let's get specific. JP Morgan Chase has been public about deploying AI across legal document review, risk assessment, and customer communication. Legal document work that previously required 360,000 human hours annually is now processed automatically. Those lawyers didn't all lose their jobs on one day, but the junior positions, the entry-level roles where young lawyers used to learn the business, those are not growing like they once did. The career ladder in corporate law just lost several of its lower rungs. Same story in accounting. AI tools are handling reconciliations, variance analysis, and financial report generation with accuracy that exceeds what a junior accountant typically produces. The Big Four firms are all in active deployment. They're still hiring, but they're doing significantly more work with fewer people at the foundational level. Insurance is where this trend is arguably most advanced and least covered. Claims processing, underwriting, risk modeling, all of it repetitive, rule-based, generating exactly the structured data AI thrives on. Insurers have been automating faster and more aggressively than almost any other sector. Nobody's writing long takes about what's happening to claims adjusters in Des Moines, but something is happening to them. Here's the uncomfortable math that ties this together. The jobs disappearing fastest are not the lowest skilled jobs. That's the part that surprises people. Very low-skill physical jobs, the ones requiring a human body responding to an unpredictable physical environment, those are actually harder to automate than assumed. The last mile of physical labor is genuinely difficult to crack cost-effectively. Very high-skilled judgment roles, senior attorneys, specialist physicians, executives making complex decisions with real liability attached, those are relatively protected, because someone's name still has to be on the decision. What's getting crushed is the middle. The trained, certified, credentialed, reasonably paid American worker doing specialized but ultimately pattern-based work. Medical coders, junior financial analysts, paralegals, inside sales reps, mid-level HR coordinators, logistics planners. These are not minimum wage jobs. These are $40,000, $50,000 a year positions with benefits and a career path. The jobs that working and middle-class families in this country built their financial stability on for decades. Being compressed, quietly, systematically. And here's the absurdity that makes the whole thing sting a little, a lot. A lot of these workers spent years entering data, processing claims, categorizing information. Work that, it turns out, was directly training the AI systems now replacing them. They were the data set. They just weren't in the room when the model got deployed. Now, here's the honest contrast, because this conversation requires it. Self-driving trucks were supposed to have cleared regulatory hurdles by now. They haven't. 3.5 million American truckers are still employed. The autonomous vehicle timeline keeps getting quietly extended. AI was going to replace radiologists. Radiologists still employed, still in demand, still paid well. AI is a tool they use. It is not them. The hype cycle consistently underestimates friction, regulatory, political, cultural, technical. The technology does impressive things. The headlines extrapolate to maximum disruption, then reality hits resistance and slows down. So the honest 2026 picture is not a clean sweep on a predictable schedule. It's real, uneven, concentrated in specific task categories, moving fastest in low-visibility sectors, and creating genuine harm for specific workers while the broader conversation is still debating whether it's real. It's real, it's just messier than the version people were sold. One more thing that doesn't get discussed enough. The entry-level positions being eliminated aren't just jobs, they're the knowledge transfer mechanism. They're how expertise moves from one generation to the next. You became a good accountant by spending years doing the foundational work, the reconciliations, the reports, the tedious stuff that taught you what the numbers actually meant in practice. You became a good paralegal by living inside the documents. You developed judgment by doing the work that built the intuition. If AI absorbs all of that foundational work, the expertise that lives in today's senior professionals stops being replenished. In 15 years, when they retire, where does the deep institutional knowledge come from? Nobody has a clean answer. The companies deploying these tools are optimizing for this quarter. The 15-year knowledge problem is genuinely someone else's problem in every boardroom where these decisions get made. That is a very American way to build a crisis, slowly, efficiently, with excellent short-term returns. Here's where things stand honestly. Unemployment numbers don't show a catastrophe, and people who use that fact to dismiss the disruption are making a category error, because what's happening isn't mass unemployment yet. It's structural compression. It's industries doing more revenue with fewer people. It's the job that used to get posted when someone left that now doesn't get posted. That doesn't show up in the monthly jobs report the way people expect. It shows up years later when an entire generation of workers realize the path that used to exist no longer does, and nobody sent a memo. The workers most exposed right now are not in the headlines. They're in the quiet industries, doing certified, specialized, pattern-based work that felt stable right up until the moment a software contract made it optional. So here's the only question worth sitting with when this ends. The economy has always restructured around new technology. Textile workers, switchboard operators, travel agents. Disruption has a long history, and the economy absorbed it eventually with varying degrees of pain for the people caught in the middle. But those transitions happened over generations. The technology moved at a pace that allowed for some adaptation. What's different now is the speed, and the speed is outrunning the institutions, the education systems, the retraining programs, the safety nets, the regulatory frameworks that societies have historically used to manage the transition. The technology is not waiting for the institutions to catch up. So the question is not whether AI replaces